Hello. So I'm here to talk about state and power. So first of all, well, we have to define what a state is. I just have to say that state is a political and legal entity, and state is the most important actors in international system because they dictate both the policy, they dictate the affairs in the international system. So, statehood, during the 17th century, states were just like one of many political organizations. They are in like a overlapping set of empires, feudal chiefs, and the religious communities and tribal chieftains. It was like a little structure of tribes, in the earliest times, because in the earliest times we have different communities staying independently, but with time these communities seek the need to come together, because when they come together they can achieve greater things, and with time these little tribes formed large communities, and from communities they form little city states, from gradual process, then uh, the concept of state. So when we talk about states, as modern state as we know today, when we talk about states, the states, it came in 1648 with the Treaty of Westphalia. And this Treaty of Westphalia came uh, because of the 30 Years' War, and we call it religious war because it was between the church and it's between the church, that's the Catholic Church, and the Protestants. Because then the Pope was like both the secular and religious head of affairs in international system. So basically, the Pope was both the theocratic and the states as of that time was run and based of theocracy, and then it was between chiefdoms and serfs, and most kings don't have even authority over the Pope. So that was the reason for the 30 Years' War. And after the 30 Years' War came the Treaty of Westphalia, which brought about statehood as we know today. So we know that centralization of political power in the hands of a single sovereign, it marks the beginning of the modern state, which is defined by exclusive right to sovereignty and territorial jurisdiction. So when we talk about states, there are qualities, main attributes a state must have for it to have that statehood, you know and these qualities were enshrined in the Montevideo Convention of I think 1933, and these qualities include sovereignty. When we talk about sovereignty, it means like a state to be independent of another countries from external affairs. Sovereignty, they make their own rules, make their own laws, and they are free from external forces or external control. That's what we know about sovereignty. So a state must have like a defined territory. It must have borders that differentiate them. That this is, for example, we are in Poland. Poland have borders that, okay, from this place to this place is, well, Polish border. So a state must have a defined territory. So a state must have population. So this means that states, there must be people, significant people who identify themselves as as citizens of that state, living within the states to make up the population. And another qualities of a state is that a state must have a government. You know, by government, you mean the bodies, the institutions that could make law, that enforce law, that execute the law. So for the easy, smooth running of the state, and the state must have laws governing it because without law there will be state of anarchy in the society. So laws keep people in check. So law is one of the main qualities of law. Government is one of the main qualities of a state. So we say that we say that these qualities are what makes up a state, and we know that statehood it reached its apex in the 20th century. When power and numbers of states in the world were boosted by like a total war and decolonization. Because in the 20th century, it was like there were many events of the 20th century. Started from the two world wars, starting from the colonization of different parts of the world: America, Africa, Asia. And within this period, it created the nationalist sentiments in people, because the people that were colonized wanted to receive their independence, and the people that are colonizing are trying to come together to protect their hegemonic power. That's the West. So 20th century was a very vital period in the and when it comes to statues. So as I said earlier, states are the one of the main actors in international systems, and yeah, so statehood is a very important and yeah, vital to the affairs in international system. So when we talk about power, what do we call power? You know, so power have many meanings in social sciences. This include the ability to prevail over another actor, and the quantitative capacity to force another actor into submitting to your own will, and the ability to benefit from another actor's losses. So this can be defined as power. So uh, other powers, country can have different kinds of powers. Some country has military power, like China, USA, Russia. They have military power. Some countries have like economic power, and which is a good leverage when dealing with states in international system. Countries like Germany, countries like USA, countries like China, the economic powers of the world. So they use these powers to their advantage. There are other kinds of powers, but the three main forms of power, the three main types of power are the soft power, the hard power, and I would say the mixed power, because it's a mixture of both. So when we talk about the soft power, for me personally, I would define soft power as like the kind of power that doesn't require the use of force. There are kind of soft power like um, negotiations. There's kind of soft power like cultural advancements. Like for example, there are like places like China and okay, for example, so some tourist places they use this kind of power to their advantage, and some soft powers includes like how they portray themselves in the face of other people. For example, in the US they use the like stuff like Hollywood, and other stuffs to portray themselves in a very good and acceptable manner to other state actors. So these are soft powers. So hard power are mainly military powers because they deal with militarism, and they try to subjugate, they try to like in the division of power, to take advantage, to prevail over other other actors. For example, the use of force, that's invasion, like we are witnessing the war in Russia and Ukraine as of this moment. And the third one, we talk about mixture of both soft and hard power. So for me personally, I think that that is the best form of power, because you can easily switch it off and on when you need to be nice and when you need to be ruthless. You know, for me, that's why personally I use USA as an example. USA has a bit of both the soft and the hard power. So for me, that's the best form of power. So another very important aspect of power we have to speak about is authority. You know, authority. The definition of authority refers to an actor's legal right to act in a certain way instead of its simple ability to do so. So, and authority authority is mostly guided by the law, because, for example, the judges have the authority vested on them by the constitution to act in a certain way. The president has the authority given by them in a constitution to act in a certain way. So that's what power and authority is all about. And that comes to my end of my presentation. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening.